I'm going to do another video on Nofap. I've come to the conclusion that the best, probably the best, okay, for me anyway, the best way to do it is to fab once or twice a week. Now let me tell you why. See, now you're gonna read all about the pseudo-scientific or scientific conclusion experiment or conclusion to experience about Nofap, right? And now I'm not gonna get into that. There's always gonna be room for dispute for stuff like this, you know. But I just want to say, from a phenomenological point of view, from the subjective point of view, or from the common sense point of view, I think Nofap works up to a certain point, and this is why. The reason why I was doing Nofap was because I was thinking about sex more often than I should. My mind was preoccupied with sex even when I wanted to focus on my work. When you fab a lot, that means you're thinking about sex a lot, right? Every time you fab, let's say you fab 3 times a day. For 3 times, you have to bring your mind to a point of orgasm 3 times. And that is why people are addicted to either pornography or to fabbing, or to just the feeling of orgasm. Because every time you have an orgasm, your brain feels so good that the reward system gets triggered. What happens when the reward system gets triggered is that you want to do it again, to feel that pleasure. And sex and the act or the feeling of orgasm is good for survival, right? From the default point of view. If you have a lot of orgasm, if you have a lot of sex, objectively or evolutionary speaking, it's good for the species survival. And what happens when you orgasm is that you have to bring your mind to a point. If you bring your mind to a point of orgasm, that means that your entire brain has to be occupied with the thought of sex, so much that your body reacts by ejaculating. That's powerful. If you guys know the term or the phrase, what fires together always works together, or something like that. I forget what the exact phrase is. It's thought of by neuroscientists. If you associate something together all the time, it's gonna fire together at all times. So that if your existence, if your brain is always associated itself with the connections of sex will be strengthened a lot if you freaking try to bring yourself to orgasm 3 times a day. Which is why people who fab a lot, who watch this porn a lot, whatever they do, whatever they see, they can associate with sex. They're polluting whatever room or whatever space there's left in their brain with sex, okay? And Nofap is a way to sort of weaken in that connection, right? Sort of like how you get over an ex-girlfriend. If you haven't seen my video about how to get over your ex, I use the same type of analogy, the same type of newer explanation to explain how you can forget about your ex by weakening the connection between your but not thinking about her every day. And the only reason to get rid of thinking about sex so much is if you cut back the number of orgasms, right? Because slowly your brain is gonna sort of rewire itself thinking that, whoa, okay, maybe you don't need to think about sex that much, right? What I did was that I cut back to fabbing only once a week. And I realized that my sexual urges, the way that my mind works, I was more cleansed. I wasn't thinking about sex as much, okay? But I find out if I go more than that, if I try to hold it in more, and that, like everything else, there's a point of diminishing return. And same thing with Nofap. If you wait any longer, I mean, your body isn't just gonna give up on sex. I mean, you're biologically programmed to want sex. So if you go more than like a week or 10 days without fabbing, your mind's gonna start wandering around to think about more sex again. Because you're not getting it off, you're not releasing the energy, the images in your brain is gonna build up again. And not only that, sexual or libido is use it or lose it. If you find yourself with a girl, you might not get a boner because you don't ever fab. Your brain sort of just die down. I mean, my brain now takes more for my brain to become sexually aroused, and it takes only like 1 or 2 fabs a week for me to not occupy my thoughts with sex all the time. And another thing I want to talk about is bulking and Nofap. I realized that when I was eating really dirty, when I was dirty bulking last summer, I was fabbing a lot more. I think there's actually truth to this. If you eat like shit, or like if your testosterone level or your hormones are out of balance or shooting up the roof, you get more horny. And that's what happened to Vivian. I made her bulk and I made her eat all the shit because I want her to get beefy. And then she started to get more horny, right? started having more dirty thoughts. Started watching weird Japanese anime where little girls get ripped up by walls and shit and get fucked by moonlights. I don't know, man. I'm not into that shit. Okay? Alright, so I'm eating clean now, sort of. I'm counting my macros. And when I eat oatmeals, when I eat tunas, my mind feels clean. Instead of thinking about black women with freaking oil hair and pubic hair that's like an afro in the freaking basement of dungeon, that's dirty thought, right? I think about nuns and I think about angels with wings. Another reason why people shouldn't fap as much is because, let me tell you something, man. The orgasm is probably, well, we're biologically programmed to feel this way, of course. It's probably the best feeling you can ever get, right? I mean, in some circumstances, or some people would think that, getting the orgasm with the mind, which I do agree up to a certain point, having an LSD high, or, having a Molly high, whatever, or having a spiritual clarity moment is more satisfying than, sex. But at the end of the day, the feeling of orgasm is still a distinct feeling that you can't really mimic, spiritually. Even if you want to, you can transmute that energy, but sex still feels fucking good. And orgasm still feels fucking good, right? And you realize that the power of the orgasm, it's a drug. It's a drug that I said in the first point that you can get addicted to, right? It's a drug that can reprogram your thoughts. It's a drug that you can take you through your life. But it's also a drug that you can enjoy. Think about it. You have like a freaking thing right here, a whole system that allows you to give yourself like a heroin shot, almost like whatever you want. Do you really want to take that for granted? Do you really want to waste that? See, what I realized with the Nofap thing is that when I wait a few days, when I try to control my urges, and when I set a date where I can fap, it's like I'm having a date with myself, and that before that I take that for granted. It's like, oh, fapping, just fapping. I even get annoyed. Oh, fapping. But when I wait a few days, when I plan out my fap, that day is like a magnificent day. I'm like, fuck yeah, I get to fap. And when I fap, it feels so much better than when I used to fap every day. I was like, damn, this fapping thing is amazing.